cubs were going to try and see who was the bravest one, and it turns out none of them, because they all took off at exactly the same time. So a very good morning to all the viewers and subscribers. We've come out this morning and we've bumped into a beautiful breeding herd of elephants just on the road in front of us. I have seen that there's quite a big bull at the back there that I believe is a tusker. He doesn't have a very large pair of tusks, but they are decent sized, and hopefully they're all going to walk towards us and we're going to get good experience of them coming right past the vehicle. So under further closer inspection with this big bull, he's definitely got a decent pair of tusks on him, and he's just following the herd slowly. He's obviously trying to see which females he can mate with, because he is in must.
Take copy.
So after leaving the elephants this morning, we came all the way down south. We had a report of a male leopard busy hunting some impala. As you can see, the impala are just off to the side of me here, and the young male leopard is Tavangumi, and he's caused quite a stir in the area. He missed the initial hunt, and now these impala are making sure not to lose sight of him. You can hear their busy alarm calling. So this calf walking here on its own, it's with the rest of the herd, but it's left quite a big gap between it and an adult, and I think that could be a potential target for Tavangumi. And that calf is not too big for him to take down, but the problem is if he does try and go for it, he's going to have to deal with the cavalry, and there's at least close to, say, 80 to 100 buffalo here in this area, and they're not just going to let him come in and grab a calf without them having a say about it. So that was quite an interesting morning locating Tavangumi. So we reckon he's somewhere just behind me here in this block, just behind here, and the impala are somewhere in this area here. They were still alarm calling. We however lost visual of him, but we might try again in the afternoon. It's very thick in here, very wet sort of block, but glad that he's still doing well and maintaining his territory down in the southern parts of the Manuleti. But hopefully we'll see him soon and follow the rest of his story fairly quickly. So this afternoon this is going to be quite an interesting interaction. There's a slender mongoose and some crested francolin walking down the road. Little mongoose is quite interested in the francolin. It's funny that both of them are showing just as much inquisitiveness as the other. The mongoose is trying to see what the francolin are about, and the francolin also trying to see what the mongoose's game is, and I think very interesting interaction. I've never seen anything like this before from a mongoose and francolin. I've seen it before with mongoose and hornbills, but it's very fascinating to see what this little guy's up to. So this has really turned into a special drive. We received a report that there were 2 lionesses seen all the way down south in the reserve in Pungwe's concession at a small dam called Picnic Dam, or Picnic Pan as they call it, and I suspected it was part of the Talamati pride, and it looks like we've bumped into the whole Talamati pride. So this pride consists of, if I'm not mistaken, 3 adult lionesses, 5 of their cubs, sort of youngsters nearly approaching a year old, maybe even a year old, and the S8 or Mbali male. Now, as you would have all known from our last few virtuals, I think a couple of months ago before I started here, the Mbali male was busy trying to establish the territory. He'd moved off from the Mbali pride and he'd taken over the Talamati pride, and now here we have his sons and daughters and some of the lionesses here. So here's a better look at the scene that we have here as Picnic Dam, and the Talamati pride are just on the other side. They're lying on the dam wall, and this is the weather that we've had to deal with today. So on the one side it's very clear and open, and on the side here it's very ominous looking clouds. And I've just noticed now the Talamati youngsters picked up their head and they looked over to the side, and there's an Ellie bull here, and that's why they're showing a bit of interest. But here's the view, the 180-degree view of the scene. So as you can see behind me it's very clear, but just in front of me it's not looking too promising. I hope we don't get caught in whatever this is coming this way, and it looks like it's moving quite swiftly along. So this elephant bull is making his way towards me, and this should be interesting because he might even chase these lions. This is going to be interesting to watch. Just hang on a second. To move off, and I suspect the cubs will follow shortly. So there you can see the bull Ellie. There's the Talamati pride, so he's venturing quite close to them. You can see they're not too comfortable. They're going to start moving now. The cubs were going to try and see who was the bravest one, and it turns out none of them, because they all took off at exactly the same time. This is quite special because now you can see some of the cubs in the background, and this bull Ellie just enjoying himself. Here we go. So that was a special sighting. and the beauty of it all is that we all had it to ourselves really. So we're going to leave now. It's gotten quite dark quite quickly, and we've got quite a distance to travel back to camp, but it was definitely worth coming down here. It's such a beautiful part of the reserve as well. It's hard to show you guys, and the clouds didn't do it justice with the sunset that we had, or we were going to have if the clouds didn't block it. But I hope you all enjoyed that. That was definitely one of the bucket list sightings now this afternoon with the Talamati Pride. Hopefully we can follow their story as much as possible throughout the year and see, hopefully in the dry season they'll push more into the Manyeleti and we'll get to see more of them and get to know the different individuals.